Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alberto, I'm a designer and pattern maker. One of my hobbies is also pottery, which I love, and I've been accumulating quite a lot of tools for it. So I decided to do some sort of uh, carrying situation for them. At first I thought about a tool roll, but they are, as you can see, all different shapes, like wildly different shapes. Plus, I have those red turning tools which are at an angle, so it would be difficult to wrap them up without damaging the others. So, what I decided to do is a tote bag, canvas tote bag, with basically pockets designed to carry the specific tools. So what I did is started to line them up, as you can see, and sort of adjust how to place them and to create a couple rows of different sized pockets. So I decided to do an inside pocket for like my glaze recipe book and my more expensive turning tools, and then to put the other ones on the outside. The reason is I don't want the protruding tools to catch on stuff inside the bag. And I do understand it's not necessarily the safest option to have them on the outside, but this is something that will be used exclusively for that. So there's not really that big of a chance to touch things. Or catch things with sharp tools, etc., etc. So I'm just marking a generic shape, and as you can see, I'm marking where I'm going to place the pockets. The reason I'm showing you this is because I thought it would be an interesting idea for other kinds of tools as well. So, maybe you can take it as an inspiration. I started cutting strips for my pockets. I am marking everything with my erasable pen, knowing that that simply goes away with some steam, so it's not really a problem. You can just play around with different shapes and sizes to figure out what works for you. I made my strips for my pockets the exact same size as the bag because my tools are quite flat. So I'm just adding some extra at the top and bottom. So as you can see, I fold them down in order to create a hem. I double folded the top and folded once the bottom just because it doesn't matter as much. But the top that way does give you a better finish. Then I'm just stitching down everything so it stays nice and neat. And then I can place them. I start with the inside one just because it's one single pocket. It's a central one. And I'm just stitching the sides and the bottom for now. I find that it's easier to just place the whole strip and then define exactly how much you want to stitch to allow space for the tools. If you were to do this for something that's a bit more three-dimensional or more voluminous, you might want to consider cutting a longer strip than the actual bag, because that way it would allow you to create a more three-dimensional pocket. But basically I'm doing the same exact thing with the other pockets that I placed, just stitching everything on very, very simply. And once I have everything there, I can finally start placing my tools again and marking where they are going to go. So I join front and back with a very simple seam, as you can see. And this is just because, of course, we're going to lose some space from the sides and the bottom because of sewing allowance. And I feel like having one done, you don't need to join them now, but having one down sort of gives you an idea of how much goes away in terms of volume in particular. So what I decided to do is to measure my tools and leave a little bit of ease. I honestly eyeballed everything, so I cannot really tell you an exact number because, again, these tools are quite thin, so they don't really need much. They could honestly go in basically the exact width pocket as they are, and they would probably be fine. But I'm leaving, let's say, about a quarter of an inch sort of extra space in total. So I'm marking all of my pockets, and then in my case, again, I decided to mark the whole line. Somehow I had an older pen which wasn't working, so I moved on to a wax chalk, which again is erasable, so it works great. You don't have to mark the whole line, obviously, you can just eyeball it, just makes it easier. And then simply everything is stitched down. Very, very simple. And that's it, really. So this is gonna create all of our pockets. And as you can see here, I'm trying them just to see how they fit. And everything seems to work pretty well, actually. So now what's left is just to finish sewing the rest of the bag. So I'm gonna fold back the hem on top. This is just a sort of preventive measure, just to have it folded. It helps when you're joining the sides. And then again, very simple straight stitch. I'm gonna join the sides, the bottom, and stitch down the hem. Again, that's it. Very, very simple. So I'm now stitching down the hem. I'm adding my label just because I really like to add it to things when I can. It just makes me proud. I'm also cut a couple strips for the handles. Again, I didn't really measure. It's just a question of sort of, if you have a tape measure, just you can use that to understand the length of the straps that you would like. And then they're just stitched on one side, and I use a knitting needle to turn them around. So then I simply press them, stitch them down, edge stitch them, fold about 1 centimeter per side down, just so we have a clean edge. And again, I just eyeballed it sort of around the edges of the bag, and that's simply stitched all the way around, creating a little box. If you want to have it extra reinforced, you can do a cross in the middle, an X, and that would give you a bit more strength. But that's it, and this is the final product, and I'm incredibly happy with it. So that's it. Hope you liked it. I hope you thought it was interesting, and let me know what you think. Please put a like to the video if you did like it, subscribe if you aren't, because it's a great help for me. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.